This is a show that will blow your mind, but it might not. It all depends. Do you like breakfast and a book with a friend? Hello, welcome to the show. That's my new opening song, I think. Hello, is it you I'm looking for? You guys, it's breakfast and a book with Swallow. We're gonna have a very silly day today. Um, we need to spin on the chair. If you don't spin on the chair when the chair can spin, you've wasted that chair, and I don't think it's okay. Do not waste your spinny chairs, my friends. Whoa! That's how we have fun in the pandemic, you guys. So first things first, I'm gonna show off the way I'm gonna get adult onset diabetes, and then that's a joke. I'm obviously not gonna get that, but let's look at this. Come on, turn it around, thing. Yeah. So I made that. Yes, there's cheese on the corners, chocolate chips, strawberries, syrup. Yeah, guys, maybe I got a little over the top today, but you know, sometimes you do that. Here's the crazy part, you guys. I've actually lost weight during the pandemic while eating this type of stuff. A big part of that is that it turns out fast food is terrible for you. I ate a lot of fast food because I was constantly, doing two jobs, doing comedy, recording podcasts, recording vidcasts, and then never having time to eat. Why the cheese? What is wrong with you? Cheese is delicious. We're going to eat the cheese first. People, eat more cheese just on the side. Hey, Leonid. That was Leonid saying hi, guys. Out on the YouTube world and on the Facebook Live world and the internets. People make fun of me if I say the internet because it's an old slang. I'll use all the old slang I want. You don't tell me. Yo. Now we blow. Bell, biv, DeVoe. Ha! Okay, guys. I'm going to try these mini pancakes out with a chocolate chip on them. Work them. Oh, yeah. You guys, this is delicious. And you can eat this and still not be as fat as if you eat McDonald's every day. Oh, I'm not dipping the Stouty thought I was dipping the cheese in the syrup. No, not even I'm that weird. Oh, now it makes me want to try. You know what? We're gonna try it. We're dipping syrup. We're dipping cheese in syrup. You can see it. Is this a mistake? Probably. Is this like Fear Factory? Or Fear Factor? Yes. You know what? I'm gonna say, for sure, it's better without syrup. For sure. Leonid says his diet is pretty much cheese. Okay, that's good, I guess. It's still better than eating McDonald's. That's what I'm learning. If anything, the pandemic should teach you today and forever is to eat at home. Cook your food. Don't go to fast food anymore. So, this is the book today. Here There Be Dragons by James A. Owen. The Chronicles of the Imaginarium Geographica. So, let's read the back so you know what it's about. Ben Duke says, I don't know, ever put maple syrup on pizza? I have not tried maple syrup on pizza. I bet it'd be good. But the cheese and the just cheese and the thing, it's not great. But if you had the mix of the meat with the syrup, I bet it'd be delicious. So let's see here. We got an unusual murder, a life-changing adventure. John, Jack, and Charles are strangers brought together by the Imaginarium Geographica, an atlas of all the lands that have ever existed in myth and legend, fable and fairy tale. On the eve of the murder of a caretaker of the Geographica, the men learned that it is now up to them to protect the atlas from the Winter King, an evil conqueror gaining strength in the world of the imaginary. After securing one of the just 7 ships that can cross into the imaginary lands, 3 men set out to find the Winter King before he builds a deathless army that no force on Earth can defeat. George R. Martin, did you steal that shit, motherfucker? No, I'm just kidding. Stouty is saying no on the pizza. Once this thing is done, I'm closing off the kitchen. Been watching you cook way too much. I do cook a lot, you guys. So this book obviously involves fantasy lands. They travel all over all of the fairy tale lands from like... Oh, you guys never had exactly, Monte Cristo. Oh, that's delicious. I should try to make a Monte Cristo. So basically this book is about these 3 guys who are basically put in over their head in the imaginary world. They kind of already know that it exists, but they don't know how to the extent of what it exists. Let's open up in the middle of the book, see what we got. We'll find a chapter to start at, because otherwise it's random. So let's see here. The course had been determined well enough that no further corrections or navigation were necessary, but once again, John felt as if he'd failed them all utterly. Avon was furious and not speaking to anyone, and even Arturus was keeping a protracted distance. Only Charles and Bert were conciliatory to a degree. "We couldn't have known," said Bert. "We had all the cards, and we thought the game was over. We didn't expect that the steward was still playing." "I can't believe I saved him," said Charles. "What? I don't understand," said John. Why take the Geographica too? He had the Ring of Power. If he planned to take it to the Winter King or try to sell it, or even try using it himself, then what did he need the Geographica for?" "The summoning," Jack said from the foredeck, keeping his back to them. "He needed it for the summoning of the dragons. The ring alone is not enough. The words must all be spoken, and now he has them both." Huh? Jeez, that's intense. Let's see if we can find some places where he's descripting. Some descriptors so you can get an idea of the descripting style. The white dragon left the islands of Camino's Liber in relative silence and calm seas. Only one pair of eyes watched it pass. High above them in the clear night sky, the great silver and crimson crane watched a few minutes longer, then wheeled about and began to fly south with increasing speed. Basically, this is a pretty fun book. It's a tight read, a fast read. Not a ton of descriptors, great dialogue, great pacing. So you're not getting as much of a picture painted in this book, but you are getting quick paces, and it leaves a lot of your stuff to your imagination. Stouty says, "What? Whoa, Ring of Power. I wonder what that gives you." "Probably the ability to talk to fish." Yeah. I wonder what fish would say. They'd probably say, "I need more food. I need more food. I am a fish robot." I have no proof of it. So basically what I'm saying is, this is a good book, and it's a good book for a fast read. It has dragons in it, you guys. Dragons and all kinds of fairies and elves. It has all the good stuff that you could want in a fantasy world crammed into one book. And there's a couple of books, actually. I believe this is a trilogy. So if you start reading this and you like it, there's more books to read. Also, the guy drew all the art as well as... so he did all the illustrations as well as write the book, which I think is cool. Oh, look at this wizard guy. He knows all the children of Earth. And I assume he did this cover, which you can see is very cool. Here there be dragons and a ship that takes you to imaginary lands. So, boobies? No boobies. I'm not 100% sure that this is a YA book, but I'm pretty sure it is either YA or just a little above YA. So, but it's great. Stouty says Game of Thrones has set the standard. If you have dragons, you must have boobs. I don't think that's necessary. Actually, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, because sometimes kids reads books, and you can have boobs when kids read it. Well, I mean, I guess you could. Just don't have them be sexy boobs, maybe? Just have, like, people are just naked, I guess? And no explanation for that? No sexy times, and then it'd be fine, maybe? I don't know. I don't think this is a thing I should debate. Oh, cheese is delicious, you guys. Let's drink some drink. So, like I said, if you want to go through a bunch of different lands, a bunch of different fairy tale lands, see dragons, be on a ship, YA for why absence of boobs. That's very funny, Stouty. Lena says I can't keep up with all the great books you are reading. You should post a list. Yeah, and also I should say a lot of these books I've just read. A lot of the books in there, in fact, most of the books in there I've read already, and I keep them around because I like to reread them every once in a while. But I will post a list. That's a great idea. But this book and the series of books is a very fun, very fast read. So it's the kind of thing where, like, if you want to be able to just like sit on your porch and read a book really fast in a couple hours, this is that type of book. If you're a fast reader, if you're a slow reader, we don't judge here. You take your time reading. You enjoy and soak in the words and the images. Because this is why I like reading, by the way, guys. Because to me, when you read a good book, even when it isn't a super descriptive book, sometimes a lack of description can let your imagination fill in the blanks. So if they're on a ship and they only describe a few points of the ship, you can make that ship be anything you want. So they're on the seas and you picture a more Pirates of the Caribbean type of ship, or you picture a more simple sailing ship, you know, however it is that you want to picture it. Sometimes that gives you the option to do that. And that's kind of one of the things I like about books, is it gives you the ability to just really create your own images. You know, so that way you are constantly, it's almost like you're creating your own movie with these people's words, which I think is a lot of fun. And that's one of the reasons I like to read books. So, no type 2 diabetes list will be good. I'm not going to actually get type 2 diabetes, but I don't know if you saw what I'm eating, but I'm going to show you again because it's bananas and it's delicious. Bam! I ate some of them already. Chocolate chips, strawberries, yes, some cheese. And Stouty says, what am I paying the writer for if I'm doing all the work? You're not doing all the work. Many writers will be very descriptive, and you don't have to do any work. Some writers will go ahead and leave it up to your imagination. H.P. Lovecraft, for instance, loved to say things like, a monster so horrible your brain could not fathom it. Then you make up what your brain could not fathom. That's not necessarily bad because it's just scary, right? And sometimes he would give you tentacles, okay? Sometimes that's how it works. I'm going to take one more bite of these. Then we're going to do a summary of everything that's been going on. Oh, I'm sorry I'm eating from you guys, but this is delicious. So, summary. You can eat semi-bad and still be okay healthy. Just don't eat at McDonald's and Jack in the Box and all those places that are clearly, like, I've lost 9 pounds and I haven't been exercising. All I've been doing is just eating food that I cook. So, bam. Oh, I didn't put the chocolate chips in the batter. Yeah, I just wanted them on the outside because I'm making they're little small pancakes. So I thought they'd be better without the chocolate chips in them. You know. Also, actually, you know what? That's not true. I just thought of it like secondhand. That's why I made the batter, and then I remembered to add chocolate chips, and I was like, I'll put them in later. So, anyways, you guys, as a wrap up, this is what we learned. You can eat a lot of stuff at home that's not great for you and still be better than eating fast food. We've talked about that. We've mentioned that a few times. Don't eat fast food. It turns out it's terrible for you. And read all the books, especially check out this series. Here There Be Dragons. The second one is called The Search for the Red Dragon. So you can check those books out. They're fast reads, they're super fun, and you're going to have a blast. Plus, there's dragons, because it's Here There Be Dragons. So check it out, you guys. If you like the stuff that I do, you like these silly videos, you can subscribe on YouTube. Mash that subscribe button. I think I'm supposed to say that at the beginning. But you can mash the subscribe button, click notifications. You'll see whenever I pop up a new video. You can also check out Reboot It on YouTube with Ed Greer, Billy Business, and producer Bill from the Nerd Goat podcast. Nerd Goat podcast. That's the other thing you can check out. Listen to my podcast with Ed Greer and producer Bill. We talk about people's favorite fictional characters, and it's a lot of fun. If you want to support, you go to the Nerd Goat Patreon, patreon.com/nerdgoatpodcast, and you can subscribe where you'll get extra podcasts for the $5 tier, or you do the $7 tier where you get the extra podcasts and you get art sent to us eventually once the Kinkos are operating correctly and I can actually get everything printed out without risking people getting sick. So, yes, all of that can happen. You can support that stuff. Very simple. Nerd Goat Podcast or patreon.com/Nerd Goat Podcast, and then you'll have fun. You get the extra podcasts. We do weird, goofy stuff. Talk about like AI. We talk about what we wanted to be when we grew up. So you get more personal stuff. Whereas Nerd Goat, you talk about favorite fictional characters. And if you haven't seen Reboot It, I'm telling you guys, it's bananas good. We're doing a live Reboot It where we're going to reboot the Fantastic Four. The concept is that Ed, Billy Business, producer Bill, and I are under-producers who are basically forced to reboot movies nobody wants to see rebooted. The conceit is that John Peters, the guy who wanted to reboot Superman and put a giant spider in it, is the guy in charge of us. So basically, we're going to be rebooting the Fantastic Four, a movie that has been rebooted and been terrible every single time. So we're taking on a doozy. We're going to do it live May 30th. So check it out. That's all the ways you can support all the stuff I do, including watching my very silly show we now know is called Breakfast and a Book with Swallow. So thanks, guys, and everybody be safe out there, and I will see you later.